Tell me a Parsha story. Welcome to Parsha House.
Meet Shimone. Shimone's family moved from Miami Beach, Florida to Cincinnati, Ohio. When Shimone went to school in Miami, the most popular game during recess was basketball. And the kids played until they were sweaty, and they ran and they shot, and it was amazing. In Cincinnati, the most popular recess game was soccer. Oh, were they good, and did they take that game seriously at recess? The problem was that Shimone was new. He was a little shy, learning his way, and he hadn't learned how to play soccer very well yet, so it was making it harder for him to break in during recess. But about 2 weeks after he moved, Shimone got up the guts and he said, "Hey guys, can I join the game?" And the kids looked at him and said, "Yeah, you could be on this team. Just make sure you're good. Don't mess it up for us." And so Shimone joined the game, and they put him in the position of goalie. He was standing there, ready, trying to be ready anyway, and the ball just went right through his legs, and the other team scored a goal. And the kids on Shimone's team started groaning. Why did we let him play? That was the easiest block ever. How could you have let that happen? Gosh, we can't believe it. You're really bad at soccer. Suddenly, one of the kids in the game, named Avi wasn't loud. Avi was on the quieter side, laid back, chill, took his soccer seriously, but not too seriously. Avi spoke up, and Avi said, "Hey, stop! Enough! Don't talk like that. Shimone just came. How were you when you first started soccer or anything else new?" And suddenly, it was quiet on the field. The kids were embarrassed that they had acted that way. Avi walked over to Shimone and said, "Shimone, I'll be standing nearby. Let me show you how to use your hands to block, how to move your legs in a way to help block. You're going to get better and better at this." The game continued, and just before recess was over, Shimone blocked a ball from getting in to the goal. And all the kids in the class started clapping for him and saying, "You did it! You did it, Shimone! What a great block! You did it!" And the kids knew that the real hero that day was Avi, because in his quiet, confident way, he set them straight and made sure that they wouldn't make fun of a friend, of a classmate, especially somebody new that had just come to their school. Everybody went back in from recess. Avi really didn't think much about what happened and continued on his day. Little did he know that not only the kids that were part of the game noticed what he did, but there were kids that were playing other games nearby, and kids that were climbing on the jungle gym, and kids that were on the swings. And word spread very quickly from the kids who saw and then kids who heard that Avi stood up for what was right on the field near the playground that day. And there was a knock on the door of the principal's office by a little girl named Leora just a few minutes after recess was over. Leora knew that the principal in her school really valued, even more important than the grades that kids got in school, is the way they treated one another. And so Leora knocked on the door of the principal's office, and she said, "Hello, Rabbi Rabinowitz, may I come in?" And Rabbi Rabinowitz said, "Of course, it's so nice to see you, Leora, what's up?" She said, "Something just happened on the field that I know would make you very, very proud. A boy in 3rd grade, his name is Avi, he stood up for what was right. He helped a new boy in our school and made sure that nobody made fun of him and that everybody acted kindly to him." Rabbi Rabinowitz looked at Leora and said, "Wow! Thank you so much for sharing that story with me. You just made my day. Thank you, Leora." And about an hour later, while the 3rd graders were walking up to lunch, Rabbi Rabinowitz had another knock on the door of his office. It was Akiva. "Hi, Rabbi Rabinowitz. I just wanted to let you know what happened at recess this morning. Something so beautiful that would make you and our school feel so proud. Avi stood up for what was right and showed everybody else on the field what it means to be an upstander and what it means to be kind." "That's amazing," Rabbi Rabinowitz said. "Thank you so much for sharing that with me. I love when I hear that kids in the school are acting according to the Torah way, according to the values of building people up and make them feel good. Thank you so much, Akiva. You made my day." And an hour and a half later, while the kids were walking out to the field to recess, Moshe stopped on his way, made a little detour, knocked on the principal's door and said, "Rabbi Rabinowitz, can I come in?" Rabbi Rabinowitz said, "Of course. What's up? I'm on my way to recess, but I just wanted you to know you would be so proud of what happened this morning in this morning's recess because Avi stood up for what was right and taught everybody what it means to stand up, to be kind, and to help other kids." "Thanks so much for telling me. You made my day. I'm so happy." Wow. Even though Rabbi Rabinowitz had heard the exact same story a few times, he made sure that each kid who came in to report the amazing story felt fantastic. And after afternoon recess was over, Rabbi Rabinowitz was standing at the door as the kids were coming in from recess. He said, "How did it go? How was recess this afternoon?" And the kids said, "It was great. We were just continuing from this morning's recess and remembering the way we're supposed to treat one another." And as Avi walked in the door, Rabbi Rabinowitz said, "Avi, can I talk to you for a minute?" And Avi was thinking, I wonder what the principal is calling me over for. And Rabbi Rabinowitz called over Avi, spoke to him and said, "Avi, what you did today, what you did on the recess field didn't require a strong, loud voice. It required strength, inner strength, to stand up for what's right and to teach other people what it means to be strong for our friends. You have a lot to be proud of, Avi." And Avi, you should know that I heard about it from a number of people, so you really impacted a lot of kids in our school. That reminds me of this week's Parsha. In this week's Parsha, Parashat Nasso, there are 176 Pesukim. It's the longest Parsha in the whole entire Torah. And one of the things that makes this Parsha so long is that there are 6 Pesukim that are repeated again and again and again. Why? The first round of those 6 Pesukim is when Nasso ben Aminadav comes and brings a korban. And Nasso is from Shevet Yehuda, and the Torah writes, Nachshon brought a silver bowl, and it tells us how much it weighed. And then it talks about the flour that he brought with it. And then it talks about all the animals that he brought with it. The par echad, the seir izim, etc., etc. It goes on and on for 6 pesukim, explaining what he brought. And then, the very next day, Netanel ben Tzuar, the Nasi from the tribe of Yisachar, steps up, and he brings the exact same karban, the exact same gift. And the Torah doesn't just say, oh, he brought the same gift. The Torah lists for another 6 pesukim every single thing that was included, which was exactly the same. And then Bayom HaShalishi, on the 3rd day, the Nasi from Zevulun, Eliav ben Chelon, steps up and brings the exact same karban. And the Torah details exactly what it was, day after day after day. And do you know what? Even though these karbanot or a karban of an individual person, it was like it was for the tzibur. It was like it was for everyone, since everyone was being thought of, and that's why it was even allowed to be brought on Shabbos. Each Nasi that came forward said, hey, I want to do what the one before me did so that I don't look like I'm trying to outdo him. If each day the person says, I need mine to be better, what's going to happen by the time we get to day number 12? And that thoughtfulness is what made each individual karban each day as if it was a communal karban. And why does Hashem write out each one, each day for each Nasi? Because Hashem wanted to show and teach respect for each and every Nasi. Each of their gifts were so precious. The fact that they brought the exact same one as the Nasi from the day before, that was being done for a great reason, and that didn't minimize at all from any of the gifts. Rabbi Rabinowitz learned this message well, and each child that stopped by his office to share great news with him, he showed such excitement, such joy for the good news for each and every child. He showed such respect for each and every child that stepped in. Hashem was so pleased with what each Nasi brought. And it wasn't like, oh, same old, oh, got this same, this one was brought yesterday. We could just write in the Torah, and the same one was brought by each one. No, each one received respect and appreciation for what they did. I hope that we could all take the lessons from this week's Parsha of not feeling competitive about outdoing another person, about knowing that when we do what's right and when we do it with our full heart, when we stand up for what's right and when we do what's right, we bring such joy and satisfaction, each one of us, in our own right and in our own way, even if the action looks the same, even if the karban looks the same. Shabbat Shalom.